Good morning, everybody. It's Bobby, and today I want to talk about looking the bully in the eye. Who is the bully? The bully is the 4-foot putt. You know, short putts in general carry an extra burden. And what is that burden? Well, you know you should make them, but you can't help but recognize the possibility that you might miss. And so people avoid practicing these, even in casual practice by themselves. People don't want to face the reality they might miss one of these, and so they avoid them altogether, and therefore never improve. You know, let me ask you this in the form of a question. What percentage of putts does the average touring professional make from 4 feet away? I'll give you a second. You said 90%. You're right, it's 91%. 91% of the time when a touring professional strokes it from 4 feet, it does go in. But these people with fine strokes, I'm talking about a touring professional who make almost every single one of them from 4 feet, what percentage do they make when we go out to 6 feet? No, it's not 70%. Keep going. Nope, it's not 60%. Keep going. 51%. 91%? 51%. Very fine stroke, still a fine stroke, but it only gets its reward half the time. And that's because the quality of the greens that we play on in this day and age are such that from 4 feet away, if you stroke it well, it will go in. But that same fine stroke is just a flip of the coin back here because there's variations. You know, you misread it, you do this or that, you're not gonna make them. And so when I'm speaking to you, the average golfer spends most of your time practicing from lengths greater than that. That's what people do. They practice from 30 and 40 feet. What are you doing? You're practicing missing. You're proving to yourself time and time again that you're capable of missing. I mean, if the average touring professional only makes half of them from 6 feet, how many are you gonna make from 20 feet? Very few. And so what do? You practice for an hour, you miss, and then after an hour you go, whew, that was a good practice. That wasn't good practice. All you did was prove to yourself you're capable of missing. We have to make. It's very important. And by the way, if you become better than average from 4 feet away, you're not just better than average from 4 feet away. You're also better than average from 5 feet. It's like the free throw shooter who makes 90% from the free throw line. They're also the best shooter on the entire court from here. They're also the best shooter from here. And everywhere else, they're the best shooter. It shows itself in 90% from the free throw line, but they're the most reliable shooter on the entire court. And so the same thing goes with those who are strong from 4 feet. They are better everywhere. And so what I want to do is break up the monotony, because monotony palls. It drives a person crazy. Oh gosh, I've got to practice 4-footers. Let's do this in a very organized way so that it doesn't drive you crazy. The first thing you've got to do when you practice golf, period, certainly with these 4-footers, is you have to have a buy-in. What does that mean? Well, a buy-in is that thing at the beginning of a session that gets you going. You know, it's like on, I work out at the gym. I'm sure many of you do. Monday is chest, no matter what. If I miss Monday, I miss chest that week. Tuesday's arms, Wednesday's legs, Thursday's shoulders, Friday's back. I have a buy-in at the beginning of every single workout. So on arm day, Tuesday, I don't start the workout until I've done 200 arm curls. All right, that's my buy-in. That's something to get me going, because if that's gonna hurt, that's gonna burn, I'm gonna really do this, but now my brain is ready for the rest of the workout. The same thing here. When you practice putting, you've got to have some sort of a buy-in, something that gets your focus going. And so the idea here, when you're practicing 4-footers, is not to leave here until you have made 50. Now, 50, not just any old way. You've got to have a buy-in. You've got to start by making 5 in a row. Now, that's a big thing. You know, 5 in a row. Hey, listen, you're going to have to focus in order to do that. You can't just knock them out there. You've got to make 5 in a row. It's going to provide some focus for you that you might not have otherwise. Because, I mean, let's face it, if you live long enough, anybody can make 50 putts. But to start by making 5 in a row, that changes things entirely. And so you get up there and you start by making 5 in a row just to get things going. And those 5, by the way, do count toward your 50. All right, and I don't want to miss one of these. Why? Because if I miss one of these, then I've got to start the whole process over. And so I'm buying in. Whoa, that made it somehow. Thought I missed that one for a second. And make the 5 in a row. Once I've done that, I'm at number 5. Now I have 45 more to go. Now, invariably someone's gonna come up and talk to you. Someone's gonna interrupt you and you go, what have I made, 17 or 18? In any case, you lose interest because you can't be sure exactly how many you've made. Here's what I recommend you do. Now I've made 5 on my way to 50. I make another 5, that means I've made 10. Every time you make 10, have 5 tees waiting here. Every time you make 10, stick a tee in the ground. Make another 10, stick a tee in the ground. Even if someone talks to you and interrupts you, you still got these tees to remind you of where you were. All you've got to do is be able to count to 10 and 10 again. When you've got 5 tees in the ground, you can be sure that you've made your 50. And ladies and gentlemen, if you will get to the point where you're making 50 every single time you practice, which by the way, is about a 7 or 8 minute investment. It's nothing. It's nothing, it's 7 or 8 minutes. every single time you practice, when you find yourself on that first hole in a pressure situation, there's a peace, a calm that comes over you that says, well, shoot, I do this so often, I can't even picture myself missing. I make so many of these, I can conjure an image of positivity, of making, and that's what's important. The best putting stroke in the world has to have trust and belief, and there's no way to get it other than to do it. And so 50 every single time you practice. Start by making 5 in a row. That's your buy-in, and that will help tremendously. I want to thank you for tuning in. I'll look forward to seeing you next week.